one. Check one. Welcome to Brother to Brother Sports. This is your boy Just G. He's chilling here with my brother CT. What's up, CT?
Thank you for the introduction, brother. Hey, man, love it. Hey, having a good old time out here. So looking forward to, broadcasting again, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Calm down now. Calm down, everybody.
Bring it. Yeah. Welcome to Brother to Brother Sports. My name is Just G. Garland Scott. 660. Chilling out here in Cali in the 209. If you didn't know, Chris is in the Midwest and I'm out in Cali, so there's 2 hour difference. So that it's causing some technical difficulties with timing and production. But we're gonna get it together and be more what's the word? Purposeful.
Purposeful.
And getting stuff out and fast and up to date.
Right.
Get a schedule going on. But anyway, welcome to Brother to Brother Sports. Just GCT Pittsburgh Trav. He's somewhere flying across Pennsylvania, but we're gonna catch up with him one day. But anyway, check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, coming soon, TikTok, Tubi, all the outlets coming soon. Brother to Brother
BET.
Sports.
We're going to be on BET. With Tyler Perry going to have us.
Yep.
On Oprah. We're going to be all over.
Yeah, it's coming soon. Episode 13. Lucky number 13, maybe?
It's
We're
14.
find out.
14? Is it 14?
14. Oh, you're right. 14. 14.
14 episodes in.
This little basketball game happened last week, and we got lost.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're going to get into Brother to Brother Sports, man. We two brothers. We love sports. We love talking about sports. And we're going to get into it. First off, we're going to jump into the NBA playoffs, man. We got a new champion again. Oklahoma City wins the championship. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh man, I had Indiana winning. I was real sad that Halliburton he went down. I thought that they has built some real momentum, and and obviously in Game 7 for me, anything is possible. But I don't want to take any away from OKC. I think that Kid Gildress, he earned it, and congratulations to the champs, man. I just feel it was a downer for me to lose a top player like Halliburton in the most critical moments, and it just leaves a bad taste in your mouth for me. What about you, bro?
Yeah, congrats to OKC. Congrats to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, MVP of the finals, MVP of the game, MVP of the league. I think it was the fourth time in history that Michael Jordan, Shaq, and somebody else, Kareem or somebody, maybe Wilt Chamberlain, somebody that you've won them all. You won the league MVP, you won the championship, and you won Finals MVP. So shout out to Shai, shout out to Oklahoma City. But yeah, it's true, man. Before Halliburton went down, he had made those three threes, and they were looking good. They was rolling like they did in Game 6. It was very risky for him to play with a calf injury because there's history that we'll get into, that Achilles. But yeah, he's out for 12 to 16 months. Just like other players. But Oklahoma City, they won the title. This is, like I told you before in the pre-show talk, that this is the 7th year in a row it's been a different championship since Golden State, you said, was the last one to repeat. Yep. And, why is that? Is the salary cap? Is it the new apron? Is it the luxury tax? There's no more super teams. What are your thoughts on that? Why is there a different champion every year?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. I'm not really certain why that is. It could be that, they've structured the salary cap to a way that there's nothing but parity. You can't have more than 2 great players, Jaylen Browns of the world, and what's his name from the Celtics? Tatum. And everybody else is kind of a role player. There's just a lot of there's a lot of parity, and there's a lot of similarity with how the teams play. It's drive and dish, the 3-point shot, live and die by it, score. And I just think they've taken too many elements out of the game that could affect the game, like hard-nosed defense, actual tough fouls, and things like that. It's kind of, we've talked about this before. It's just to me not a compelling sport, and it's all the teams are essentially even.
Yeah. I think one thing that was very relevant in the playoffs, that the teams that played really good defense, they played longer into the playoffs. Even Indiana and OKC, they were like top 10 defensive teams, and they had all defensive players, and they had good team defense. So I think that definitely made a difference. Super teams, I mean, if you got two players making $60 million a year, it's hard to have, four other players making 25 or making 35 or 40, and that's kind of the way this new game is. And now with the second apron, far as the salary cap, if you go over that first apron, they're charging you almost double what the old luxury tax was. So it's hard to create this quote super team or have three great players on your team. The Lakers tried to do it. You can't have three $50 million players on your team, because who are you going to get to come play for your team and get paid $1 million? I mean, I'm making 50, you making $1 million. Make that make sense to me. You know what I mean? Make that make sense. Why should I come in? What am I chasing, a ring, or what am I doing? And then I may not even get the playing time that I was promised, because you got like 8 other players that are making $1 million. That they're like, I came here to win a ring, but I gotta show I can still play. For after I get this ring, I need to go to another team.
One ring to rule them all.
Let me ask you this too, G. It's kind of like, to me, I remember that even if you had those salary cap issues where you couldn't have three $50 million players, and like in the NFL, they understand you can only have so many top players. And so what they do is they kind of draft and develop, right? They'll draft a player that can come in and make an impact, and they can be a top, in the top 20s, right? Jair Alexander, I think, was pick number 26, and he made an immediate impact. In the NBA, what I see now with the draft, I think you can get maybe the top 3 players. Those are impact players, and the rest, I mean, I looked at the draft, and this is just, I know we're going to get into this later, but then it's trades, and it's just a bunch of players that just, to me, ain't ready. So you're double behind the 8 ball. Not only can you not congregate veteran talent, but you can't get those cheap contracts in there that's going to put you over the top. Do you see what I'm saying? Those players ain't ready.
Yeah, past the top 10, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah,
you have no idea. That's why some teams choose to go overseas, get players from overseas. Other ones try to get veteran players because I need somebody who can play right now. I don't need somebody who can play in 4 years. And now with the top players in the league, a lot of them are 30 years and over. You only have like a small window that they're going to be relevant where they can actually play. LeBron's kind of an anomaly that he's still sticking around. Only one I can think of is like the Joker. I think he was the 24th pick. I mean, that's a diamond in the rough. That's just a steal.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna
maybe
happen.
Giannis was one, a late round pick to develop.
Far as the salary cap, Oklahoma City, all 15 players are under contract. Nobody's leaving, and they have like 15 number 1 picks from all those trades. So can they be a dynasty? What can mess this up?
Well, injuries can mess it up. If your go-to guy suffers an Achilles tear, and that'll mess it up. But as far as they had a great draft this time around. They have everybody under contract, and to answer your questions, they have the potential to be a dynasty. But I don't know if dynasty means dominant team. You know what I mean? I think dynasty means that you just have the players in place that you could win, but you're not going to win in a way where you sweep. You win 4-2 or 4-0, or you're just dominating a team. So there's a difference between the Jordan-esque kind of teams and the Piston teams and the Lakers that dominated and today's dominant team. I could say even Golden State, they won 72 games or something like that and lost, and then they had that brief run where they had great players, but I don't know if they were a complete dominant team. So to answer your question, yes, they could have a dynasty, and it doesn't mean as much as dynasties of the past.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
They got the players under contract. They're a young group. They seem to like each other and like playing with each other. They got a good young coach that they seem like they're, sometimes the players' egos are bigger than the coach. I mean, SGA, man, he's not too high. He's not too low. He's not all about the flash and all this. They said he still drives a minivan or a truck or something, some old truck, He just grinds,
Yeah.
Family man, so he ain't out in the streets. You don't have to worry about him, committing crimes or running around with masseuse, getting some allegations or whatever. It's a
entourage
perfect,
and
it's a perfect story. No guns, no, just no bad vibe with him.
Yeah, maybe it's that Canadian upbringing, man. He's from Canada. Oh, Canada.
Yeah, a lot of them Canadian cats are doing their thing.
Well played, Canada.
We're gonna see if they can do it again next year. I mean, the problem is their team is solid, and the other teams in the league are trying to figure out how to manage their cap.
Yeah.
Because right now, look at Boston. They just dumped all their players, and then Phoenix just dumped all their players. So, and then with Boston pretty much out of it next year because of the injuries.
Yeah.
The East is wide open.
Yeah.
You figure New York, they got to find a coach. They'll be back, and even Indiana without Halliburton, they still pretty good. And then Cavaliers will be back. So it's kind of up in the air. Right now, if I said the favorite, I'd say OKC and Cleveland.
Yeah. I'm going to throw the Knicks in there. I think the Knicks had a good run, and I think that I don't know what their salary cap situation is. I don't know. I haven't looked at their free agent thing going on, but, they were really competitive, and I think that they have the fan base and the market base to really do a push on the East. I wouldn't count on teams. I wouldn't count them out. And Cleveland obviously is good as well, and I couldn't say Indiana. I couldn't count them out, but the problem is that there is the thing that pushes back against a dynasty is there's just so much parity. The teams are so equal. The style of play is so equal that, to me, anybody could get on a run and do a Miami or something like that and have a mediocre season and come in and do damage in the playoffs because it's just even across the board. That's how I see it.
Yeah. Golden State, they need cheap, experienced help. They need defense. Lakers need height and defense. Indiana just needs to be healthy. Cavaliers just need to be healthy. Boston, I don't know what they're going to do. They got old man, Horford, and then they can't keep those other guys. They can't. There's rumors about them trading Jaylen Brown. But man, come on, man. Who's going to – the last year of his contract, he's making $69 million. I don't know who's going to take that. And he's a good player. It just –
69.
I don't know what they're going to do about the league. I mean, I don't like the way the league is. Because all the money is at the top. There's no mid-level salaries or mid-level players. It's like the have and the have-nots, and it's you can't have two players making $50-60 million and the rest of the team making $5 and $10 million. I don't know how that works. NBA draft. Cooper Flagg did go number 1. He went to a good team, the Dallas Mavericks. Once Kyrie comes back, once AD comes back, they look really good on paper. They're very tall. very long and very athletic, good shooters. And Anthony Davis plays defense, and he don't have to play the center because they got bigs.
Yeah.
I think they match up with OKC really well. But Anthony Davis, he is older, and he's Mr. Glass.
Yeah, he's Mr. Glass. He's Porzingis part Deuce.
He's
You know what I mean?
He's known to get hurt.
Yeah.
Katie went to Houston. One note on the draft, I noticed that the first round, a lot of freshmen went.
Yep.
The second round, a lot of veteran, 3-4 year seniors, experienced players that can walk on the court right now, run pick and roll, play defense, and they're mature enough. I don't have to worry about them, racing cars or abusing women or getting caught in fights. And these guys are 24 years old, 23 years old, and they don't have to worry about all the nonsense of a 19 or 20-year-old freshman. And then one thing, I don't know if have you watched any of the highlights of the draft?
I did. I picked up on it. Like I saw, because it sometimes it becomes about the draft and it becomes like whose family is there and whose girlfriend is there and that kind of thing. So I picked up on some of that.
Did you notice some of the players, like the guy who got drafted to the Raptors, and then the other guy got drafted to Utah? Did you see their response?
No,
That guy was like, "Oh, fuck.
Really?
You just got drafted. You're going to make $5 to $10 million a year, and you're mad because you're going to Utah. You're mad because you're going to Canada."
I'd be mad if I was going to Canada.
I know, but is that AAU or is that what happened to did you see the kid from Africa? He just started playing ball when he was 13. So he's been playing ball for 5 years, and he just got drafted. And they asked him, he said, I came from nothing. I came from nothing. We had nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But these guys are like, oh, Toronto?
Yeah.
What?
Well, I understand the Toronto thing because, in Canada, you pay hella taxes because they got a lot of free Medicare, so you don't make as much money because you're paying it all in taxes.
Well, one thing I thought about it, though, is that you got 2 years, 3 years, whatever your contract is, to prove that you can ball.
Right.
You get to see another country, maybe pick up some French.
Yeah.
But
Voulez-vous.
But I remember when Damon Stoudemire went to Canada, and he was kind of like, oh, man, Canada?
Yeah.
But he went up there and balled, 19, 20 points a game, rookie of the year. I remember they beat Michael Jordan.
Big country? No, that was in Vancouver. Yeah.
And even in the big ticket, that year Stoudemire went to, that was the expansion draft. Stoudemire went to Toronto, and then Kevin Garnett went to the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
And it just kind of shocked me.
He went to the Grizzlies or Timberwolves? Timberwolves, wasn't he?
He went.
Garnett was the Timberwolves, Minnesota.
Was it Timbers? Oh,
Yeah.
right. It was 3 teams then.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was Vancouver, the Vancouver Grizzlies, remember? Because then and the Toronto Raptors, and then it was the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I want to say that wasn't OKC, the Thunder was a new team too.
Well, they weren't new. The Oklahoma City Thunders used to be the Supersonics.
Oh yeah, that sure is right, man. You're right about that. Wow, I don't know. That's crazy, bro. That's a crazy thing.
And Seattle's still trying to get a new team, and so is Kansas City. So
nobody's gonna.
I heard Patrick Mahomes is trying to bring a WNBA team there. Because I know they have MLS and
yeah.
I remember the Kansas City Blaze back, and shout out Cuz Duke Thornton, Dwayne Thornton. He used to play for him. Had a little incident, I think he had a heart attack or something going on where he fell out on the court. It was kind of one of those Len Baez. What's his name? Hank Gathers type of deal.
Hank Gathers, Len Baez. Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe Kansas City gets something done with that. But anyway, another note on the draft is that what's your thoughts on that? The people who got undrafted, if they would have stayed in college, they would have been making $2-3 million a year. Now they're going to go to the G League and make maybe $1 to $2 million a year. They're going to actually take a pay cut. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think staying in college and taking advantage of NIL would probably be a better option because, you know, you're getting the name recognition. You can make money on your likeness, and you're playing against arguably lesser talented players, right?
Yeah.
And you couple that with the fact that I don't think I've ever watched a G League game ever in my life.
I went to this shout out 209 the Stockton Kings. They play in Stockton here, and I went to one of their games. It was $20. It was average basketball. I mean,
Yeah.
It was. I've been to UOP Division I college, and I've been to high school games, of course. And I mean, it was athletic. It was defense, but it was sloppy.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of one-on-one. You know,
There's just you know, in my view, there's just not a compelling. The basketball is one of those sports. It is a team game, but it's really driven by individual players. LeBrons, the Kobe's, the Michael Jordans, and those type of draws that people that you want to go see. And you know, and for a long time there, the draft would build up a lot of people's anticipation because you can probably go the first top 10, and those would be players, right? You know, Brad Doherty's and David Robinson's, and you know, you would go 5, 6, 7 deep. Then you get Glenn Robinson. You know, Gary Payton. You know, these players that weren't necessarily picked number 1 or number 2, but you can count on that if you was picking those top 5, you was going to be a player. You was going to be a dude, right? And now, I mean, they might pick some dude from Afghanistan you ain't never even heard of, right? And he's traded for somebody's cousin on their third mama cousin team. You're like, what? Where? Who? What they did? They done traded the rights to somebody for a bag full of chicken wings and a hamburger, right? It's crazy, man.
They said the top 5 picks. There's only been like maybe 2 or 3 players that missed in the last, say, 10 years. I mean, we're talking about what's his name, the kid from Canada, Anthony Bennett. I don't know whatever happened to him.
Right.
And then Greg Oden. You know, there's always been that player
from Portland
that's been injured.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of them that just, you know, for whatever. What's that kid that he kind of had maybe some minnow? Markelle Fultz. Just like in college, he was just incredible. Went to the league and just flamed out. You know.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm not sure who he plays for now. I think he was on the Kings G League team at one point. I remember he went to Boston, and he went to Philly, and then he went to the Nets. So he's kind of bounced around. But usually those top 5 to 10 players, they're you know, steady.
Right.
And then I noticed another pattern I noticed this year: the teams that are basically they can't afford to pay a rookie, they trade their pick, or they took somebody overseas that they know they couldn't bring here. Like they have the rights to somebody from Lithuania, and they'll probably get here in 3 years.
Arnold, I'm going to play basketball in the United States. Yeah, it's just somebody you don't even know about.
Yeah, and then you know you got to buy out their contract. You know, it could be some kid playing, could be some 8-foot guy in China or some 7'6" guy in you know, the Czech Republic or whatever. And they, you know, I noticed that people have been drafting the French players a lot. So there's a little, you know, connection there. But
it's just boring because you don't know them. You know, unless you're on the international game, you just don't know who they are. And they can be a very talented player, but they don't have that Phi Slamma Jamma notoriety that they would build in college. And you're like, oh, I want to see Drexel in them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It's
in college, you knew the starting 5. Like I remember back in the day, college basketball used to be my favorite sports to watch and follow. I mean, I could tell you the starting 5 on Georgetown. I could tell you the starting 5 at North Carolina and Duke, at Houston, At UNLV, I could tell you the starting five. At KU, at Missouri, I could tell you the starting five.
Yeah.
But now, Kentucky, as much as I hate them, I could tell you the starting five. Now,
Yeah.
I can tell you now, the starting five at Kentucky and the starting five at KU, I can tell you that they won't be playing there next year. They won't be playing there 2 years in a
No.
row because they're one and done.
Yep.
Also, real quick, NBA trades. Kevin Durant has a new home. Desmond Bain has a new home. Drew Holiday, new home. Porzingis, new home. What do you think
Glass.
about players being basically traded away because they can't afford them anymore, and then their window of winning the championship with that team is gone? Boston, their players are going up $10 million. Basically, Jason Tatum and what's his name, Jaylen Brown. Both of them are going to go up to $60 million, so they can't afford $20 million players no more. So Porzingis is gone. Holiday's gone. KD, they traded him for a number one pick, 5 number 2 picks, 1 player for Kevin Durant. He's instant offense.
Yeah.
And they gave up their best player, Jalen Green. But Jalen Green, I mean, he might score 30, he might score 5. So, you think
Yeah. My thoughts on that is, I guess the biggest trade there and the biggest loss to me is Drew Holiday. I mean, Drew, and I remember when he played with the Bucks, he's a hard-nosed defender and good enough offensive player to get you buckets when you need them, right?
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, had Tatum not been hurt, I thought that was a team that was in the running to get to the finals, right?
Yeah, I mean,
and with Drew and those guys, that's going to be a huge loss for them. As far as Durant is concerned, I think he's on the tail end of his career, and it speaks to, you give up 5 number 2 picks. It just tells you what the value of a number 2 pick is. Nothing, because those players are G League, D League players now. They're not coming in making
basically,
impact.
it's just trade bait.
It's just trade bait.
Who can I get for 5 number 2s? And somebody,
who are you gonna get? Anybody gonna know them?
Somebody trade those. Somebody with those 5 number 2 picks, they'll trade that for a starter.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you get out of the first round, nobody knows who those dudes are. I think the last number 2 pick was that I remember was a guard for the Bucks. I forget his name. He ended up playing. He ended up bouncing around the league, but he was pretty good. Number 2.
And since I'm a Kings fan, I remember Isaiah Thomas, and he was Mr. Irrelevant. He was the last pick in the draft, but he balled out. But then he got hurt. His sister passed. He kind of lost his way, and he ended up in the G League again. I think he's still trying to get back in the league.
G League. Yeah. But, the league nobody watches. I can't tell you. I don't even know the name of the teams. Yeah. It could be the Jeff City somebody's. I don't even know. I couldn't tell you.
Another topic, last one for NBA. 8 players this year alone torn Achilles tendon. The last one we know for sure, Halliburton, also Jason Tatum, and your boy, Dame Dollar. Yeah.
Dame Dollar.
What are your thoughts on that? What's going on? Is it conditioning? Is it too many games being played? Is it the shoes they're wearing? Is it equipment? Are they taking care of their body? Are these players made different? They're bigger, stronger, faster? What is it?
I think that the bodies aren't the problem, because the technology today and the medical treatment and the amount of time that they can help these players is already in place, right? More so than it was of yesteryear. So, and you could make an argument for the amount of games that they play. So, you have players that'll play a full 82 game season and then will go out and play the Olympics or some other and go back to their country and play in that. So all that wear and tear on your body could impact that. What I say it's probably neither of those things, though. Because, like we were talking about earlier, you have load management days. I think they can play a minimum of 65 games and still be eligible for the awards and stuff like the MVP and all that kind of stuff. But, you can go to a basketball game and your star player won't be there. He won't be playing, right? He just be on the bench. So they're probably not playing an 82 game season like yesteryear. I do think that there's something to be said about the shoes that they wear, the low cut shoes, the inserts, the carbon fiber inserts that they have in those shoes, which supposed to help you get a little bit of spring in your step, but end up putting a little bit more of stress on your Achilles in a shorter time period, right? So you get that bounce, you get that boost, but it puts that tension on that Achilles, and it could blow, particularly if you're playing that kind of perimeter game like Tatum and those guys play. I mean, it's just odd. And we looked at it earlier, and we saw that in the 80s you had one or two, and in the 90s it was like up to two to three, and then all of a sudden in the 2010s and 2020s you got 6 or 7 players every decade that has a devastating injury like that, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it's the shoes, high tops. Maybe you need some of that kind of stuff, and it might not be as comfortable because it's going to fit around your foot a little bit more. You might not have as much mobility, but it might save that Achilles. So it's hard to say. It's just an odd phenomenon, man. Maybe it's a freak thing, but
yeah. What are your thoughts on the fact that they said that there's a couple players I know for sure that were playing injured, like Tyrese Halliburton. Mm-hmm. They have calf strains or they have, ligament strains, and they are putting more, they're putting more pressure on the leg, knowing it's already injured. I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, we knew Tyrese was going to play. I mean, it's Game 6, it's Game 7. They give him his treatment, whatever, but there's still that little small part that's saying that, hey, if he hadn't have played, that he could have saved his Achilles.
Yeah.
But it was Game 7. I mean, it's win or go home. What are your thoughts on that? Playing injured, is that factor into some of these?
Yeah, I playing injured probably does factor into it. But it's funny. You would look at it from years past, and you can see players playing injured, and they didn't have the devastating injuries. So it's hard to say that that's the case. I remember players, Willis Reed, and all those players coming in and still Paul Pierce, and they still played. It's a tough thing, man. To not come out and obviously not be able to perform at a high level. But I guess my thing is that mechanically, if you have a hamstring injury, it impacted me when I was running, and I would ice it up and do something, but there is this compensation that you have to do. So you run differently when you have an injury, and that puts stress on another joint. So it's to your point, it could be that, hey, look, maybe we need to sit this dude out, right? Yeah. Because, the potential with just because of how the mechanics of your body and the motion mechanics work, it could cause you to be injured. And I mean, the stakes are high, right? They're paying these guys $50-60 million a year. And yeah, it is true. It's Game 7 of the playoffs, and you want to tough it out because, there's some accolades to be said about that. He's injured. He came in like Jordan did when he had the flu and all this other stuff, and he still bust 40 on you and won the game. That's going to be legendary stuff. But ultimately, it's a big risk. And I think, like in football, Christian Watson, he was the one guy. He had a hamstring. He had an injury, and he played through it and ended up blowing his knee out. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So there's something to be said about maybe when they're injured, send them out.
Yeah.
Send them out.
Just one last note on that. I still think it's amazing, maybe lucky, that LeBron's played like 20 years and he hasn't had really a major injury.
Yeah.
But I know LeBron does not necessarily play hurt. If he's hurt, he sit out. He don't care if you talk about him. He don't care, blah, blah, blah. He just don't play hurt. Now, is he hurt a lot? No. But he don't play hurt. So
yeah, but you got to know that LeBron is also basically a unicorn, man. He's a physical specimen. He's a Reggie White. He's one of those generational players that comes along every now and then. So like Shaq, I mean, Shaq was similar, right? I mean, granted, his stamina wasn't that great, but I mean, just a physical specimen that comes out and dominates. So you just don't have guys like that. And these guys are, like they say Tatum played at 220 or 230, and is maybe he's playing a little bit too heavy. You never know, but they're not those generational physical talents that they have. So Yeah. It is a testament to LeBron. I would agree with you.
Yeah. Let's get into the NFL. Aaron Rodgers, he's been talking a little bit to his brother McAfee a little bit. He says this is his last year, and he's going to leave it all on the field. What's your thoughts on that? I mean, is this guy capable of having a good year and then just leaving it on the field? What do you see him doing with the Steelers?
I see. Good question. So, the number one question is he capable of leaving it all out there in the field and moving the Steelers to a different level? I think he is capable of it. My one thing is that Rodgers has always played a kind of playground style of football, where he used his mobility a lot to, get the receivers extra time so he can make those kinds of throws. Now he can throw the ball across the field, but I just don't know if he has the elusiveness that he used to have. Right.
Right.
The other part of that is the Pittsburgh receiver core. One of the things that gave Rodgers success in Green Bay was that he worked with those guys. He knew exactly where they were going to be. They ran the route with the route timing, and that takes time to build. I just don't know if you build that within a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think DK Metcalf is all of a sudden going to know when to cut off a route because he can see how the defense is playing him. He's never been really that type of player.
Yeah.
And the rest of the players are kind of just okay. So to answer your question, yeah.
I'm surprised that he hasn't tried to bring somebody in. MVS or, gosh, I don't know who else is out there.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a Green Bay wide receiver besides Devontae and MVS that he might. I mean, he ain't gonna bring Jordy back for sure.
No, Alan Lazard, he was with them in the New York Jets, but Lazard was more possession receiver.
Yeah.
And so big, tall guy that was good at blocking, but there's nobody. So it depends on if he's able to build that kind of chemistry where he has to drop back and he's under duress, and you got to cut that route off, and he knows you're going to be there, right? He knows you're going to be where, and that's going to be the key to their success, not him, buying time or just buying time to get the players more time so he can get the ball. And he's always been risk averse with throwing people open and risking those interceptions. Why he has one of the lowest interception percentages in history, right? So it'll be interesting to see how the receivers are able to meet him where he's at, and if they're students of the game, because he's not the kind of he's the kind of quarterback to be like, you got to be, I expect you to be here and be on your ass if you're not there, right?
Yeah, he used to get Garrett Wilson, man. He used to get on
Garrett
him.
Wilson,
I used to feel bad. I used to feel bad for him. I was like, this guy played with some scrubs, man. He played with Zach Wilson. He played with Mike White, and now he's playing with one of the GOATs, and he just on him like, dude, you need to be here.
You need to be here.
And Aaron Rodgers, like you said, he don't throw interceptions,
right?
So I don't know how that's going to look, but I think Fairmouth is going to help him. A reliable tight end, but again, just possession, moving the chains. Yeah. And DK is going to have to get. I don't know if he can get yards at the catch. I mean, I don't know if he's a separate type guy. I know when he gets the ball. Yeah. If he's in the open field, it's hard to bring him down. But I don't know. I think
his route tree. Yeah. He's got a couple. He don't have a big route tree. He can threaten your safeties deep. So you always got to pay attention to him. And so he's going to be a decoy a lot of times. But he doesn't have the route running skills. He never did. He's, to me, doesn't. He scares you because he can take the top off the defense with his speed. But I don't even think he's that great of a run after the catch guy.
Well, we'll find out, because when he was in Seattle, they had two. They had Lockett and the other young kid. Can't think of his name, but they had three good wide receivers. So it wasn't no single coverage for DK. Yeah. Pretty much. I mean, people was on Lockett, they was on the other kid. So it's gonna be. I mean, he's gonna have to. There's gonna be some work to be done for.
It'd be interesting to see how it goes. I think they got some good matchups. I think they play the Jets. They play Green Bay. The defense is always going to be there. I think will Rodgers buy into Tomlin's, style, or is he going to do that? Throw it all around the yard, or is it going to be, hey, let me
one
let the
thing I
run
want to
game
see
take
is
it? Yeah.
Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator. He wants to run the ball, and I don't know if has Aaron been with a coach that wants to run the ball like that.
McCarthy in his last couple of years with Green Bay, they had a run-oriented illusion of complexity kind of offense that they ran the same plays and would do it, but it was still tailored toward Rodgers, right, and what his strengths were. And I don't think you want Rodgers back there just handing the ball off 40 times a game. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You want to you bring him in there for a reason, and the reason is that he can get the ball in tight spots. He's smart. He knows the game. You want to be able to utilize him to your best ability, and it's really going to be dependent upon Freiermuth and all the receivers, how quickly they are able to all gel and get on the same page, because that's going to lead them success. The defense is always going to be there. As long as T.J. Watt plays, they get him a contract. But I think they're going to be competitive. I'm going to say 10 wins.
Yeah, I say their ceiling is 11 wins and being a wild card team.
Yeah.
Anything other than that is a miracle.
Yep.
NFL, Shedeur Sanders, since he's been in Cleveland, has had 2 speeding tickets, and he's had a failure to appear in court. I've seen the video when he got pulled over. It was amazing to me that the Highway Patrol didn't know who he was, even after he said his name is Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that? I mean, is that a big deal, no deal, or big dummy?
I'm going to say big dummy. Here's a guy that, already fell and, by the shenanigans in the pre-draft meetings. And there was rumors that there were teams that he just tanked the interviews because he didn't want to be drafted by them. And you go into the 5th round, and now you have this opportunity with Cleveland, but you still do things that kind of indicate that you don't have the emotional maturity to be able to handle what's being presented to you. And you're fighting for a potential, they say you play good in camp and all this other stuff, but you got to show that type of leadership off the field as well. And you got three other quarterbacks that are ahead of him. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's, to me, I say big dummy. What about you?
At first I was like, young people, they got a fast car, they try to show it off, whatever, open it up, see how it does, whatever. But this guy's in pickup trucks and SUVs and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's not really running late.
Yeah.
It's like, it's what he does. That makes no sense to me. With the situation with Henry Ruggs that was in the car wreck that had caught the lady on fire and killed her, killed her dog, and it just, I don't know. I always think like, you're not a role model, but young people look up to you. And then I thought that in rookie camp that they talked to him about stuff like speeding, about, women, about you representing
money,
the shield, and how to manage your money and all those
team
things.
Meetings
they have a whole seminar.
How you conduct yourself in interviews, all that kind of stuff, right?
Did he just miss that? And then I'm thinking, like, I know Dion had to tell him, first time, like, my bad, I was running late, or I was showing off, and it just happened to be a cop right there. But come on, man. After what's his name, Rashid Rice, Henry Ruggs. I mean, it goes on and on. Come on, guys, y'all got to be better than that. Y'all got to be smarter than that. And he got a target on his back. They looking for they. I can hear people right now. Told you so. Told you so. I knew it. We've been trying to tell you. This guy's selfish. Yep. This guy's not a team guy. He's not. He's me.
It does. Yep, I agree with you. It does seem like that. It could be that. Hey, look, this guy doesn't have the maturity to be able to lead an NFL roster, man. And to your point, he's probably got people in his ear. He's been around celebrities. He's been around people that, his dad is a talented player. He knows the league. And I'm sure he got a bunch of friends that knows how to conduct themselves in the league. And to me, it's a big dummy moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
One last thing on the NFL.
Yeah.
Justin Tucker, Pro Bowl, perennial All-Pro kicker for the Baltimore Ravens, has been released. He's looking for a new team. He has 16 allegations of improper touching and behavior with massage therapists. I think we've heard this story before. What are your thoughts on that? My first thought is, why is this not a big deal like Deshaun? Are they treating them different? Or are they the same? Or is this guilty? I mean, is guilty to proven innocent, or I'm innocent to proven guilty? But, I mean, he's one of the best kickers in the game, and he has been released. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Well, I'm all for when you're innocent until you're proven guilty. I'm also for, where there's smoke, there's fire. Okay, one or two times, you've been touching some booties and the dudes that are giving you a massage, and then, but 10, 16 times, I don't know if they're dudes or women, but
at first I was like, they out to get him,
Yeah.
If you got a lot of money, you got a lot of fame, that they out to get you, whatever. But man, 16, that's a high number, man. It ain't like 25 like Deshaun, but come on. They got to be telling these guys about this, man.
Yeah. Some of those are false, right? Some of those are people who are just coming out trying to get money. Some, and, you hear about it. There's a lawsuit. Everybody's going to get on the bandwagon because, okay, he goes to the massage parlors and, you a name. But, to your point, you should know better. You should know not to expose yourself to those types of things. The league tells you to avoid these situations. You should know not to go out to the strip club. You should know not to go out to and get into these situations where you could potentially ruin, your image. And image is everything.
I don't know. I keep thinking, like, how come they don't have like a witness, or do you need a witness, or why do you? What I want to say is, how come the team, if there's a need to get a massage, right? How come the team don't have a team staff that's all they do, and you know what I mean? Keep it in house. I mean, the bad apple is going to be a bad apple regardless. But it's just when you're entering the public and you got all these different people. If you got 16 different people working on you, I think that's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know why. So you have the facilities that you have at the Ravens place, their training facilities and all that kind of stuff. You have, and they have ice baths. They probably work with you. They have physical therapists. They have everything you need. You don't even need to go to these places, man. You got it right there, right?
Yeah.
So
it almost seems almost like a fetish type thing, like
it is.
Like, what's going on, man? There's something going on, I mean,
I
thought he was an opera singer. I didn't know, he was looking for happy endings and all kind of stuff. What's going on, bro? Come on, Just. You better than that, I thought.
Yeah. So if I was an NFL team, I'd stay far away from that.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. Real quick, WNBA, CATLYN Clark's still out with a lower groin. I don't know how it works with a woman with a groin pull, but she's out, and it's been affecting the attendance of the Fever game and the viewership of the WNBA. Also, some of the other players are starting to chime in a little bit. You can call it hate. You can call it, what about us?
Right.
What are your thoughts? I mean, is this a big deal, or is this just part of some growing pains? I mean, they're getting used to having a star in their league. I'm sure people did it with Michael Jordan, when he came in. They did it a little bit with Ja. They definitely did it with LeBron when he came in. They was like, what's the big deal, with these rookies? I bet Cooper Flagg is going to get a lot of flack too, because besides LeBron, I can't think of anybody who's been in WIMBY, of course, but WIMBY was from overseas. I think he didn't know any better. He was just happy to be in the league.
Yeah.
But I mean, what are your thoughts with Caitlin Clark, their attendance, and then some of the players chirping about she's getting too much attention, and there's other great players in the league. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, if you're, the other players in the NBA or WNBA, if they're saying she's getting too much attention, I just think that that's a silly argument. Her talent and her notoriety is what's giving her the attention, is drawing people to watch the games. So I'd say enjoy the fact that, you can play in a game if she's playing, and people like you and I are going to be able to watch and see some of the other players, right?
Right.
If there are players that are on her team, I know there's a player that recently quit, and they said that she gave up on the team and she didn't like her role, because she's like 37, I forget her name. And you quit on your team and you want to be, that's fine. That's you. You probably wasn't a good teammate anyway, right? If it's about me, right?
Right.
As far as Caitlin Clark's and her attendance, if she's injured and the viewership is down, I don't think I think that's a lot much to do about nothing. I think that she's brought a lot of notoriety. In fact, today I was like, "Hey, I went to go see a movie and it came in. I was like, I'm gonna watch some sports. I'm gonna see it Fever on. I'm gonna see, and I went to go look and see, but they weren't on today. So I'm still watching it, even though she may not be playing. Right? They just got to be able to, sell the other players. Like I forget Paige Becker.
Yeah.
Those players. I think there's another really good player. She's a top player in the league. I forget her name. They got
Nafifa.
Yeah.
I just thought about it. Her and Caitlin Clark both got over 1 million votes for the All-Star game. Matter of fact, Caitlin Clark's going to be a captain. Because she has over 1 million. It's a popularity contest, but
yeah.
Yeah, but
so I think
they're really good.
Mm-hmm. I mean, people are watching it. The viewership is up. I'm watching it. I ain't never watched it before, so I can tell you that
their
I think
endorsements.
Yep.
They actually got a TV deal. And pretty much all the Fever games are on TV. Matter of fact, the players, I'm noticing that the players that are on the Fever, they're actually good players on that team. I mean,
I saw them come in. You know how they come in.
Man, she's really good.
She good. She good. They got a good two-man game.
They remind you of the Pacers a little bit. They push the ball. They play good team defense. But Caitlin's the glue. I mean, she can shoot, rebound. She got crazy assists. The women's game's a little different because, the way they shoot is just a little different for me. Quick, before we get out of here, let's talk about golf. U.S. Open has a new winner. I mean, it's been a couple weeks now. J.J. Spahn. He was the only one that was under par. I mean, what do you think about Oakmar? I mean, can me and you play there? I mean, the rough is 5-6 inches deep, and the fairways are super small, and the greens are like I don't know. I mean, I think he had to make a 70-foot putt to win it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was 64. But I mean, the greens are huge. The fairways are deep, and I'm sorry, the rough is deep, and then the fairways are super, super small. I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, is this what they want? It's hard to believe that Tiger Woods shot like 20 under for
crazy,
U.S.
right?
Open, but then you got this. I mean,
my thoughts are number one, can you and I play there? We could play there. The question is, we need 72 balls, You know what I mean?
What'd you get? 15? I forgot what hole is. I would need probably 5 or 6 balls just to get to the green because, like I said, it's easy for us to say because you got the TV camera watching your ball.
Yeah.
But if you're just a regular, I mean, we played at Versailles. We played at Marshall, Mule National. We played at Warsaw. I've never seen rough like that. I mean, I used to complain about the back nine and entering foothills in Marshall. that you can lose your ball in the fairway.
Yeah. Yeah, that you'd be losing the ball, man.
You would lose the ball on every hole.
Every hole.
Because
Yeah.
unless you, I would just play 5-iron the whole round.
Yeah.
Because I know I can hit it, short and straight.
Yeah, man. I'm glad. What's his name? JJ Braun or something like that.
JJ Spawn.
Spawn. Yeah.
He was actually runner up for the Players Championship, so he's been on a little run. But the way it made Scotty Scheffler look human, and oh my God, remember he was talking about Roy, and Roy's played so good at Oakmont. He's won there 4 times. Man, he was playing like me. I think he was plus 12.
But yeah, it's crazy, man. That's a tough track, but it's good. I didn't know. I thought he was Hispanic, but I guess he's just an American guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The guy that won.
Yeah. For a minute, when I first seen the clip, I was like, oh, that's that one brother. And I was like, nah, that ain't that one brother. Yeah, JJ Spawn. Yeah. To send us off, Brother to Brothers top 10
Bro to Bro Sports Top 10 Stuff.
And let's do a top 5 golf movies. What do you got? Top 5 golf movies.
Top 5 golf movies.
Kind of say the movie and what the premise of the movie is.
It's funny you say that, but I know. Okay, so I think my number 1 movie I would probably say was Caddyshack.
Caddyshack.
Right. Caddyshack it had I think Rodney Dangerfield was in it. Mm-hmm. A bunch of other, it's been a long time since I've seen it. But it was kind of Bill Murray.
Was his name Ted White?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Ted.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Gosh, what's his name? Ted.
Yeah.
Ted Knight.
Ted Knight or something like that. He was a funny guy.
Yeah.
Was Bill Murray in it? Bill Murray.
Bill Murray was the groundskeeper. Yep.
Groundskeeper, and obviously the groundhog was in it. So real
Kenny
funny
Loggins,
movie.
I'm all right.
Yeah.
Nobody worry about me.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
I say that'd be number 1 for me as far as golf movies.
My funniest part of that movie is that's when he's cleaning out the pool and he picks up that baby roof. It looked like they said there's a floater in the pool. They drained the pool and he picks up the candy bar and just takes a bite out of it. And that lady, she fainted. Oh man, that's hilarious, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the groundhog. Have you played a course with any wildlife on it?
Yeah, I have. Actually, it was I want to say it was a water moccasin, but it was a bigger snake. And I'll never forget, I went out with my boss, and we played at Railwood, and she hit a 3-wood, probably 220 yards, sweet, right down the middle of the course. It laid up, I think it was hole number 8, and it's right next to a big old a lot of water. And we sat there. I was like, that was a good shot. I hit mine farther, but it went up way to the left. And we sat there and we watched. We saw this snake come out of the water, grab her ball, and went right back into the water. And I was like, took the ball. And I was like, do you get relief from that, or is that a stroke? I didn't know what the rule was. You know what I mean? We just said, we was like, look, and it took the ball. Like it was an egg or something. It was going.
I had never heard that story before. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Yeah.
Wow.
That was one of the weirder ones, but I haven't been like seeing alligators or anything like that.
Yeah,
Mostly
that's cousin Mark. He sends photos all the time in our group chat of alligators on the course. In Sedalia, Prairie Ridge, I remember owls. I remember like a waterfowl, like I don't know if they call them herrings or.
Yeah,
stored,
blue heron,
whatever. I see them about the water. Geese, I haven't had a problem with geese, even though there's a lot of poop around. Ducks, stuff like that. I've never had something grab my ball. And I've seen snakes on the course, but they were already running away from the action. But that is
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
for something to actually grab your ball.
Yeah, it was a I just like, look at that. And it took off and took it. Yep.
Yeah.
Thought it was an egg or something. It got it. Craziest thing I ever seen.
Wow.
I was like, you hitting 3.
Man, that relief. That reminds me of, what was that? Speaking of movies, Happy Gilmore. When
Happy
the
Gilmore.
alligator took the ball, and he dove in there. Dove in there to get the ball. There, he's crazy, man.
That's
Happy
number 2.
Gilmore.
Yeah.
Basically, the premise of the movie, if you haven't seen it, it's hilarious. It's about a guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a hockey player, but he has a bet. He wins a bet to try to drive a golf ball the furthest, and he's never played. And he could drive the ball, say, in if it was real terms, he's driving the ball a frozen rope, 350 to 400 yards. I mean, if that happened in real life, it would be, John Daly, craziness. But yeah, and the movie is how he figure out his grandmother loses her house, and he's trying to win these tournaments, and it's just hilarious comedy. That's some crazy stuff in there, crazy one-liners, and some great cameos with Bob Barker, and with the guy with the has a nail in his head, and then what's his name, Rob? He does. You can do it, He's always make the cameo in those movies. But that movie's hilarious. What else you got? Golf movies.
Yeah, movie. So that Happy Gilmore, that was 1996. But I think my next one is a tie. But I'm gonna go with The Legend of Bagger Vance. That was a 2000. It had Will Smith. He is the mystical Negro that helps a broken golfer and Matt Damon bring his game back around. So he's that guy. So that was a pretty good one. So I'd say number 3 would be The Legend of Bagger Vance, but I'll let you bring up number 4.
Yeah, number 4, I say Tin Cup, but Tin Cup, Kevin Costner, that movie, I can watch it. I don't care what part of the movie's on. I like to catch it in the beginning because the relationship between him and Cheech Marin, who plays the caddy, is just hilarious. His relationship with his ex-wife is hilarious. And then you got Mr. Don Johnson, Miami Vice, as the what's it call it, protagonist or whatever.
Yeah, protagonist.
Protagonist of the story. And what I get from the movie is he's a great golfer, but he doesn't know when to lay up, and it's just so profound that he's willing to take a 12 instead of just playing it safe and laying up. And he just can't do it, no matter what. He just can't do it. And it's just some funny stuff in there. The little crew he hangs out with is hilarious. The bets he makes is hilarious. The fact that there's real golfers in the movie is hilarious. And the cameos are crazy. But that's one of my all-time favorites. It's one of my all-time favorite sports movies. It's in there.
All time,
Yeah, because it just. Kevin Costner just does a good job, and he really plays the role really well. What else you got as far as golf movies?
I'm going to say there's a 2005 movie. It's the story of Francis Quinnett, and he was an amateur who took on, I guess, the best players in the world back in 1913. It's a Disney movie. It's called The Greatest Game Ever Played.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
I remember it. That's that the one with the kid in it? He's from the what else did he play in? He played in the Transformers series. And he played the Eagle Eye, I think, too.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's been a while since I saw it. But yeah, I'd say that was it for me. That was number 5.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Something I can 2 movies I think that are great golf movies that I think people should see, and that's the Bobby Jones story. It had Jimmy Cavalier in it. It makes you appreciate the 460cc driver that we play with, and them persimmons that Travis still plays with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And maybe
Yeah.
Tremaine, but it makes you appreciate the equipment that these guys are hitting the ball 300 yards with these hickory sticks and these leather balls and this equipment they have in these knickers and these short pants and these socks and these floppy hats. And the etiquette of the game and the gentleman and the sportsmanship is just unbelievable. It's a great story of Bobby Jones, one of the greatest golfers. I mean, other than Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus, one of the greatest golfers ever. And then a new movie that I thought was really intriguing. You know, I love when we talk about race and when we talk about inclusivity and diversity. It's on Netflix. It's called The Longest Game, and it's about this Mexican golf team. They play in Arizona, and it's a high school team. And these kids they used to go sneak on the golf course, and they had one good club. And they used to just take turns hitting the ball. And they ended up making their own little golf course. Basically, I think they made 2 or 3 holes or whatever. Yeah. And they worked at the golf course at the country club, but they wouldn't play there because they was Hispanic. And somehow they got a new principal, and he had a buddy who used to play golf, and he played golf in college. And anyway, he forms a golf team at this Mexican high school, and that's their story of how they became a team and how they overcame adversity of, you know, it's a white sport or it's a rich person's sport. And it was done really well. It had Dennis Quaid as the old, you know, teacher, the yogi, the master. I'm going to show you how to do this. Plus, he got him in. He was friends with the guy who ran the country club. He was friends with the student, the superintendent of schools, and he was friends with the athletic director of the area. So he was able to get him equipment. And it has Cheech Marin in again from Cheech and Chong. And he plays like the super duper caddy again, and the equipment guy. And it's had some funny stuff, and it had some heart coming of age type stuff where they, you know, try to get their stuff together. But it's done really well.
You know,
the other one
I saw. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Who's Your Caddy? It's kind of a black comedy. I can't remember anything about it. I just remember the catchy title. You know, like Who's Your Daddy? But I remember the funny stuff that happened in it, the crazy golf cart with the spinners and all that. But I don't remember any of the golf in it.
I never even heard of that, dude.
But yeah, that's episode 14, Brother to Brother Sports. You ready to get out of here, Chris?
Yeah, bro. Hold on, let me get it to where we at. Yeah. Ready, man.
All right, y'all. We appreciate y'all joining us for episode 14, Brother to Brother Sports. A lot of stuff going on in sports. Coming up, my name is Just G. We got CT. We got coming up the football season coming up. We get into a little what's going on with baseball here close to the World Series. Congrats to the Florida Panthers for winning. And we appreciate y'all.
All right.
Brother to Brother Sports. YouTube, Spotify, coming soon, Apple Music, and iHeartRadio. One love.
Right.
What's left?
Peace.
Appreciate y'all.